Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Beau again. So today, we're going to talk about a Trump tariff shot down by the Senate and what it means. At lunch on Tuesday, Vice President Vance warned Republican lawmakers not to take away Trump's unilateral tariff powers. He seemed to feel like he made his case, saying, quote, "To vote against that is to strip that incredible leverage from the President of the United States. I think it's a huge mistake, and I know most of the people in there agree with me." But just a few hours later, the Senate voted to stop Trump's tariffs on Brazil. The vote was 52-48, with Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, former Republican leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, Rand Paul of Kentucky, Susan Collins of Maine, and Tom Tillis of North Carolina voting with Democrats to attempt to protect the U.S. economy. Mitch McConnell said, quote, "Tariffs make both building and buying in America more expensive. The economic harms of trade wars are not the exception to history, but the rule. And no cross-eyed reading of Reagan will reveal otherwise." Cross-eyed reading of Reagan. It's important to remember that unlike most of the people engaging in revisionist talking points about Reagan, McConnell actually knew Reagan. Reagan campaigned for McConnell. You might remember it because Reagan flubbed McConnell's name at one time, calling him O'Donnell. Democratic Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia, who introduced the measure, said, quote, "Tariffs are a tax on American consumers. Tariffs are a tax on American businesses, and they are a tax that is imposed by a single person, Donald J. Trump." Senator Rand Paul, who co-sponsored, said, quote, "Emergencies are like war, famine, tornado. Not liking someone's tariffs is not an emergency. It's an abuse of the emergency power, and it is Congress abdicating their traditional role in taxes." So what happens from here? Well, of course, the House will move on a similar measure, right? Right? No, of course not. Speaker Johnson has the House shut down to avoid swearing in a Democratic representative and to avoid Thomas Massie's signatures to release the Epstein files. But even if that wasn't the case, Republicans in the House voted to pass a resolution to stop themselves from curtailing Trump's tariffs until next year. If you ever wanted proof, Republicans in the House knew exactly how damaging Trump's economic policies were going to be for the working class. It's this. They blocked themselves from voting to stop him in advance. Why would you possibly move forward on a rule like that unless you knew it was going to get so bad Republicans were going to break ranks and call out Trump's devastating economic policies as the absolute mess that they are? So, this is symbolic for the next few months as Americans suffer and Republicans say, sorry, we can't vote on it until next year because we passed something to make sure we couldn't get cold feet when you started calling about how bad your life got. You'll just have to bootstrap it. But this is another example of Trump becoming a lamer duck. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.